Good morning. This is Gail Anderson, and I'm here with Mentoring Moments for Moms. This is my husband, Kirby.
Hey, everybody.
We have some great things to discuss today about your children. And the title today is Love Your Child for Who He Is. And the ... is for the rest of it, not what he does. So that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today, is differentiating between those two things. Now, my husband did a video blog earlier this week about two things that our kids need to hear from us. And you want to talk about that just a little bit?
Sure. The two things are just simply, I love you and I'm proud of you. And these are just a couple of things that I just realized as I got older, just how important that they are, and how, in our formative years, to be able to hear that from our parents. Mainly because my dad was killed when I was 18 years old, and I had a handful of notes that I had kept from him the last year of high school, my first year of college, and I noticed one day that every one of them said either I love you or I'm proud of you. Both, I think everyone said both of those things, and I realized how much I heard that growing up, and that was the norm for me. And I realized that that is not the norm, and that was something that we've always done for our kids too. So
it is not the norm. I think so much of the time we just, even in a marriage, we expect that our spouse knows we love them, and we may say that to our kids, but just not enough. And we may be motivated to say it to them mostly when they've done something good.
Yeah.
But there's a whole host of reasons why our kids need to hear this stuff, that sense of belonging.
Yeah, I mean, these are very powerful words, just to be able to say, I love you. I mean, that's real relationship stuff. So it's not just a conditional thing, or like their friends are going to get mad at them or something like that. Man, I'm hanging on to you. It gives you a sense of just security as well, because for kids, man, the world can be a pretty rough place.
Absolutely.
It's constantly sending them signals that they're not enough, that they can't get it done, and so that's a very secure thing. And the other thing is just a sense of confidence. They're going to have their challenges, but when they know that you're in their court, and it's not just a performance thing, but that you genuinely are proud of them, it just gives them the courage to go out and try things and to hit their mark.
And all of that rolls into their adult life.
Oh, man.
So many times we feel like our parents are only proud of us because we did something good. Well, then that means they're removing their pride for us.
Yeah.
If we've done something wrong. So we need to separate between how much we love our child, the love we have for him, independent of anything else. One of the things I used to love to tell my kids is, no matter what you do, I will never stop loving you.
Right.
There is nothing you can do that will make me quit loving you. No matter what they do, that love is basic and it is immaterial compared to anything that they do. So we separate between who the child is. The child is good, and our love for him is always there, and what he does.
Right.
So we grow up as adults, if we're hearing those things together, feeling not confident in who we are, that we are not good. And it is normal for mom to say, good boy, good girl.
Yeah.
That's okay, but it's better to say, I love you, you're a great boy, and what you did was good. I'm proud of what you did. That's really...
I catch myself with the grandkids all the time. Good boy, and it's good job.
It's good job,
yeah,
yes.
You did a great job.
Yes.
Otherwise, it becomes very performance-based. And, they know that as long as they're doing a good job, then they're in good graces with you. And if they mess up, then maybe the love dries up. And that is not the signal, certainly, that we want to send to them. But that's the reality of those words when it comes across that way.
And I think we have enough trouble. Thanks for all those hearts. Tap on the screen if you like what we're talking about today. And if you want to share this broadcast, just swipe to the right and you can share it with your friends, your followers, whatever. It is one of those things where when we grow up as adults, we have enough trouble feeling confident in who we are. And when we do something wrong, we have enough condemnation in ourselves. We don't need other people heaping condemnation on us as well. And it's the same way with kids. Yes, they do feel bad when they've done something wrong. So we've got to separate and make sure they understand we love them.
Right.
What they did was not that great. So how do we handle it when our kids do something that isn't that great? It's, I love you, but what you did was wrong. You are a good boy, but your behavior is going to reap these consequences. We love them so much that we are willing to let them experience the consequences of behavior that was not right. And all it is a choice in our children. They just chose wrongly at that point. And so we train them to choose rightly. All the while, though, loving them and helping them. There's no putting them in the doghouse, no separating them from us because they did something which was bad or whatever.
Man, that doghouse thing brings up memories. I remember growing up, and I don't mean to put this on my mom or anything or dad, but they had picked up this little thing someplace at a gift shop, and it hung on the wall, and it had the picture of the doghouse. And it had this family of dogs, and there was all of our names on it.
Oh.
And if somebody did something wrong, it was a magnet, and you got stuck in the doghouse, you know?
I do not remember you even talking about that.
Oh, man. Yeah, there it was. And I don't think I was emotionally scarred. I think we all knew it was a joke. But that is, for so many people, that's the reality. And you know, it just comes down to just simply saying these things. It doesn't take a lot. We don't have to think about this, but you just can't say it too much to your kids.
We have to train ourselves to regularly say that in the morning, at night, during the day, and especially if they've made a bad decision and behave poorly. Make sure that they know, I love you, but any tips for dealing with in-laws who do separate from kids when, well, part of that would be your modeling. When you see your children doing something like that, then you go ahead and express, I love you, but what you did was wrong, and you'll have to do this consequence because of it. Another thing is, I always suggest that if you have an open enough relationship, that you sit down and talk to them. And that usually comes better from the blood relative. So if it was my mother-in-law who was saying something or doing something like that, and it was really getting bad and really affecting me to where I could not roll over it, then I would talk to Kirby and say, would you ever consider bringing this up to your mom?
And sometimes you got to do those things. You do have to talk with them. We all bring a little bit of bad habits into relationships, and I think that you do need to talk to it for the sake of your kids. And in addition to that, you can kind of counter that with your kids a little bit too, and just say, hey, this is not what they're meaning. This is, you know, they love you, so just to clarify that. But sometimes it does have to be brought up.
Show respect for them, in that you're telling the kids they did not mean it. This is what they really meant to say. And we know you're a good boy.
Yeah.
You know, God made you good. At the heart, you are good. But when you make a bad decision, then sometimes there's a consequence that goes with that. And I just want to throw in here, especially as your kids get older, junior high, high school, they are going to make decisions that are not the best. And do not rob them of experiencing the consequences of their behavior. If you continually do that, it'll be a crutch, and they won't grow into adults who actually take responsibility for their behavior. And that is an essential key that we need to bring up too.
So again, we're not sweeping bad behavior under the carpet,
No.
but it's just the main point here is let your kids hear you say often, I love you, I'm proud of you, independent of performance. It's right. Because of who they are.
That's right. You're welcome. Thanks for saying something, Melissa. Hope you're having a good day. What were some of your consequences for a 2-year-old?
Put them in the doghouse.
Usually when they're younger, I think it was Katie, I used discipline. And if you want more information on how I executed that, you can email me. My email's in the profile here on Periscope, and I can email you some of that information. The sad chair and things like that, I only do in situations where, say I'm at children's church and you would never do something stronger to a child. But when they're younger, it is very difficult to be able to explain things and suffer consequences. So discipline is one of the options, and as they
Kind of a
start
big
to get a
subject.
little bit older, it's a big
Especially
subject.
with little ones.
Yes. And as they get a little bit older, then there's a whole slew of consequences that you can go into. I actually have a couple of other scopes on rewards and consequences. And it really brings up, I should probably do another one on the difference between natural consequences and logical consequences. That would be, it's a great topic. So thank you for bringing it up. And maybe we'll get into that next week. But thank you so much for being a part with us today, whether you're watching live or later, you're picking up the replay on YouTube. I just really appreciate it. I appreciate your input. If you want to email me, feel free. And just love all of you. Hope you're having an awesome day. Thank you.